Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. The following content may involve explicit language and materials, so listener discretion is advised. Hi, everybody. With me again today is Liam from Let's Talk About podcast. He's from across the pond. I always like hearing him talk. I don't remember if I edited out this part or not in the podcast. I'm not sure. So you may or may not know what we are covering today, but we are hitting up the VeggieMan, and I'm super excited. I tried to look up more information to see if anything else has come out since I had originally done the notes, but it doesn't look like there's anything else. It's just there's one encounter, and that's all we get. But
Fair
it is bananas. So, all right, let's go ahead and crack into it. So, whoop,
yeah, I'm very, very intrigued by this.
Yeah, I know we kind of talked about it, but like I said, I think I might have edited part of it out because I didn't want to give too much away on the previous episode. So, hidden in the wilderness of West Virginia's Appalachian Mountains is a creature few have heard of and even fewer have seen. If you thought that you hated salad before, hang on to your tatas because we're going to get a look at one tall drink of plasma-loving vegetation. How's that for an intro?
I have no words. There's no answer to that.
All right, good. Got you speechless already. This leafy green cryptid is known as the Vegetable Man, aka the Veggie Man. He is described as towering over 7 feet tall. So he's got you beat.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, a little bit. To me, that's really big. Maybe not so much to you, but to me, that's huge. And he's got a very thin, semi-human-like shape.
Oh, that's not like me then.
Hey, I like him sturdy. Just saying. I don't want to break him. He was said to be so skinny that he almost looked skeletal in a sense. And the arms on this thing were also not very impressive. He wouldn't be flexing at the gym necessarily. They're described as being about as big around as maybe a quarter.
Like a green Slenderman.
I think Slenderman might actually be a little more substantial than the Veggie Man. I think. I always picture Slenderman. You always see him. He does he has that human shape, but he actually this thing's got. They're almost like twigs, or
right.
I'd say whatever other words people use for that. And they're kind of like that. This is where it gets gross. So at the end of these arms are 3 sickeningly thin fingers that are about 7 inches long. Now, granted, that could be a good thing, depending on how thin these fingers are. That they said thin, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just, you know what? I'm not going to comment the rest of that because it'll be way too X-rated. I do say a little dirty stuff, but that one's a little too graphic.
Basically, about if you prefer length or girth. Fucking hell.
I might take that out. We'll see. We'll see. But on the tips of the fingers house these hook-like protrusions that looked like needles. So where I was like, oh, hey, now I'm like, whoa, no, I don't want none of that. They say that, but they also say they're kind of like thorns that turn into suction cups at the end. And I'm going to pull up that thing where I was sharing my screen with you and see if I can pull up a picture that I was talking about from earlier. Well, that's interesting. Maybe I should be more specific. Oh, geez, guys. Good thing you can't see my screen. Veggie table. That's how I have to remember how to spell it. Maybe I should throw the word cryptid so I don't get weird ass zucchinis. Okay, so here's some pictures of this thing. Oh, here we go. So that's the hands that it's the person drew with the description.
Right.
And yeah, I don't want anybody touching me with that at all. No,
No, that's
thank you.
weird. Have you heard of salad fingers?
Huh?
Have you heard of salad fingers?
No?
Google salad fingers quickly.
Are you sure?
That just me. It was a YouTube thing when I was a kid. Google salad fingers and tell me this isn't the same thing. It was a weird YouTube video thing.
Pay no attention to my search history here.
It's all it's reminded me of.
Oh, there we go. All right, good. I couldn't get to my screen. Salad fingers?
Yeah. There you go.
What the fuck is that?
Honestly, it's fucking hilarious. But it's basically that's just a green bloke with really long green fingers.
Ew.
But he has a funny voice as well.
It's disgusting. Good times.
But salad fingers was hilarious. He just kind of go, I like rusty spoons.
It's kind of grossing me out. I don't think I can. Let's go back.
Class.
But yeah, not gonna lie, I'm a little jelly. I wish I was like 7 foot tall and like really thin. You know, I'd be pretty. I might have some modeling in my future, but unfortunately, we're polar opposites. It's very tall and very thin. I'm very short and very tubby. So it's all right. To each their own, I guess. But my note says, I am unfortunately the polar opposite, sporting a short and very tubby, somewhat human, somewhat cow shape. As if the anorexic jolly green giant was not weird enough, it gets even better. He is said to only be partially plant-based and rocked like very large ears. I don't know if they mean if they were pointed, like really large, like elf or something ears, if they were, big and floppy like Dumbo or like that Mad Magazine kid. Like, I don't know. They just say big.
I'm just thinking BFG.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that in forever. What really would have you mesmerized is the fact that it's got oscillating color-filled eyes that flash from yellow to red very rapidly to the point where they then kind of turn like this pulsing orange color. I'm just thinking weird. I'm thinking like twirly, crazy eyes.
Yeah, like a kaleidoscope eyes.
Yes, exactly. Oh, my screen is doing something funky. That's so weird. But making, matters even worse is I still can't get past the hands on this thing. I mean, 7-inch long fingers. Well, okay. So what I'm wondering is, so it says 7-inch long fingers. The picture kind of shows like the long with like the suction cup with the piece sticking out of the middle. I wonder if that piece sticking out is part of the 7 inches or in addition to, like a fucked up fingernail.
But I don't think it really matters.
It's kind of like a little, like a needle, which comes into play in a little bit. It's relevant. But yeah, it's really kind of weird. But this organic munchy madness is exactly what Jennings Frederick ran into while on what started as a typical bow hunt in July of 1968. So this poor fucker is just out bow hunt. I bow hunt, right? Well, I used to. Now that I live in town, I don't. But I used to bow hunt, so I get it, right?
What's that for me then?
Archery.
All right, fair enough.
Sorry, I think I totally just had a voice like duh. I love I'm doing the arrow motion,
We don't do that here, do we? We've got spud guns and slingshots.
I was gonna say, what do you guys just have? Those ones where you shove the balls in the little stick in the musket.
Yeah.
Or a blunderbuss. Oh my gosh.
We're not like you. We can't go into our weekly food shop and then buy fucking an asshole at the same time.
But anyway, so I'm just, picturing this poor guy. He's out there. He's in his camo. He's got all this stuff. He's lugging around this bow, which are actually a lot heavier than you would imagine, mostly. While he was making his way through the wilderness of Fairmont. This is Elmer. Oh, I have Elmer Fudding. Some woodchucks. So he was actually out hunting woodchucks. And I'm trying to picture somebody bow hunting for a woodchuck. I bow hunt for a deer. I mean, it's a little bigger target.
Again, what's a woodchuck? I'm imagining some sort of like beaver thing.
Okay, so I'm picturing it as like, you know what? Here, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if woodchuck could chuck wood?
So surely it must be some sort of beaver.
There you go. So it's like a beaver without the tail.
That's a groundhog.
Well, that maybe it's the same thing.
Yeah.
This is right
Yeah,
here.
well, yeah, same
Right?
thing.
Oh my god, I'm pointing at my computer screen like you can see my finger. Oops. But yeah,
It's
right
like
there.
a beaver without the tail. Then.
Yes, virtually.
No.
They're actually a pain in the ass, and they're actually kind of big. My mom shot some. It was pretty entertaining. It was getting in her garden, so she was pissed, so she shot it. Well, okay, in her defense, she tried to live trap them first, and she was going to transplant them somewhere far away at my uncle's property. But
Don't make them his problem.
She said, well, they don't have he's got like 90 acres out there, so he's got plenty of space.
Fair enough then.
But she had these live traps, and what was happening were these damn things, they were too fat to fit all the way in the live trap. So they
I know that feeling.
Yeah, right. Me too. Just far enough to set the thing off and it would close on it. But because it was so fat, it didn't actually latch. So it could just get back out and keep going. He's out and he's, snooping around for some woodchucks. And suddenly he hears like this really strange noise. He said that it was similar to like a high pitched jabbering that he associated with a record that's being played like way too fast, which I've only heard once in my life because I'm under the age of 50 and we don't have a lot of record players, although my grandpa has one and that's how I heard it.
I have one. You're
really?
old to have a record player, yeah?
Really?
Yeah.
I do not.
Sounds better.
I am very much 21st century.
That sounds better.
Well, I don't think you can get the podcast on a record.
That'd be mint.
That would be so badass, though. Oh my gosh.
Podcast on vinyl.
Anybody out there, if you could make a record of my podcast, that would be so dope. I also want to note, P.S., don't worry, no woodchucks were harmed in the making of this podcast. They were already dead when my mom shot them.
Yeah, I was going to say, apart from them,
that was 2 years ago. So, but in the making of this podcast and his account, he never actually got one.
Fair enough.
Which is rather disappointing. Not only was it disappointing because he didn't get one, it's about to get he's going to have a rough day.
So, leave him alone.
Well, using his tracking skills after hearing the high pitched screeching or whatever you want to call it, he followed until he was toe to toe with this monstrosity right up in its business. According to Jennings, the beast appeared to be weak and sickly. I think at one point he said something about thinking it was looking for food or something because it was just the way it was moving and stuff. It looked very frail. And the fact that it was almost paper thin. I wish I had that problem. The noise, right after he found it, he sees it and it elevated the sound and he could actually make out words this time. And I'm going to quote the words. Okay. He heard, quote, "You need not fear me. I wish to communicate. I come as a friend. We know of you all. I come in peace. I wish medical assistance. I need your help." End quote. What the fuck?
That's very proper for something that's dying.
So, well, but the thing, he doesn't know. He's just assuming because it's thin and it looks funny. But I mean, think about it. Wendigos.
Well,
yeah, Wendigos. Is it Wendigos? Yes. Yes. They're thought to be, they eat constantly, but they're always skinny and bony. But okay. If you're walking through the woods and you hear this really high pitched noise, you find the source of the noise, and this is the message that it gives you. This is like a fuck or fight situation. Or flee. We could throw flea in there. What would you do?
I mean, by the sounds of him, hope for a strong wind. I mean, I reckon that would probably sort him out. I mean,
you know what? It probably would. That'd take care of it real quick.
Yeah. the way I feel at the minute with this cold, I mean, if I get a good sneezing fit going on the go, I mean, he's good.
Like he'd just float off like a kite.
Yeah.
Huh. To be honest, I would probably try to get a better look at it. I'd just be curious. I'd be like, what the hell's this? Is this a fucking walking ball of lettuce? Like, what's happening here? I'm like, no one's gonna fucking believe me. I would try to get a picture if I had my phone. If I had my phone.
Like I said, for me, I'm just straight away. Then I got that salad fingers thing.
Oh yeah, that thing's creepy as fuck. I wouldn't go anywhere near that thing.
Yeah, all that's in my head is just like, I like rusty spoons.
Now
for God's sake.
I might be able to listen to it, but I can't see it. It's just something about it just really gives me the willies. It's weird. It's like a zombie thing or something.
Yeah.
But now keep in mind, this thing just told him, don't be afraid of me. I'm here as a friend. I need your help. I'm sick. There's something wrong with me. I need help. But right after saying that, the veggie man lurched forward and wrapped his ass up in a big old bear hug. So just snatched him right up. I'm really wondering how he must have been stronger than he looked to get a full-grown man out of here. But now's where it gets fucked. All right, we're about to get real fucked. So Jennings couldn't muster up the strength to escape, and while the veggie man had a hold of him and had him all snuggled up in a little, semi-hug, he penetrated his flesh with the hooks on his fingertips, like those little needles that come out. Like,
nice.
Yeah. And suddenly, Jennings felt himself getting caught up in the mesmerizing flashes of the colors emanating from the creature's eyes. So again, it's twirling these lights, and even though this thing's like jabbing him with fucking needles on his fingertips, he can't help but just stand there like a deer in headlights and just let him do it.
Yeah, so he's like hypnotized sort of thing.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, what's that? What's it off? Is it bloody? Is it Alice in fucking Wonderland with a fucking cat where it's just like, no, what is it? What's it off?
The caterpillar.
Aye.
Yeah, the one that smokes the long cigarettes. Yeah. I'm like, well, no, it's either him or the cat. I don't think Cheshire Cat or whatever his name is does that. I think it's the caterpillar.
Yeah, where he's like, no, it's the fucking snake off Jungle Book.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I
totally know what you're talking about. Yep, I totally know what you're talking about. The one, the cartoon one where they're like, no, Jungle Book's different. Jungle Book, it is the cartoon one where he's like friends with the bear, but it's not like the live action one.
Yeah, no, the live action one's bollocks.
Have you ever seen Mowgli? That being said,
move on.
All right, so he then says that there was pain that started to like radiate down his arm. So I don't know exactly where this thing stuck him. I'm assuming maybe in his like shoulder, like his delt.
Yeah.
Because if he's wrapped up in a thing and then he just squeezes his fingers in there, that would make more sense, and then it would radiate down his arm. And like, but if it was like his neck or something, I feel like the pain would not be necessarily down his arm, more than like in his shoulder neck area. While entranced with the wondrous lights, Jennings stood helpless as the veggie man drained him of his nutritious red life juice. That sounds so gross. Then suddenly, this mysterious walking side salad turned and escaped up a hill. So swoops him up, sticks him, sucking him, well, not dry, but stealing stuff out of him. And then it's just like, boom, turns and just hauls ass. They say that, or he was saying that each one of the veggie man's steps shot him at least 25 feet or 7.5-ish meters at a time. I'm picturing more of like a bouncy leap than a step. To go 25 feet each step. I feel like there's got to be some kind of elevation to it, because he can't he's only 7 foot tall. His legs aren't that damn long. Jennings noted that a deep humming sound could be heard from the other side of the hill, like moments after the red jelly belly monster. Sorry, I just made myself giggle. disappeared. So he sees VeggieMan bolting. He's hauling ass out of there. And as he goes over the crest of this hill, he hears this humming sound, which, his assumption was that it could have been the sounds of a retreating ship, implicating a potential extraterrestrial like homeland for this thing. And so his thoughts are whatever he was hearing was a spaceship, and that's how this thing was getting away. But running in what I imagine as a Gumby style trot over the grass covered hill was the last image that anyone's ever had of the VeggieMan. After the incident, Jennings decided to keep the event a secret, but told his family that the wounds were from a briar patch, and that was it.
What?
Okay, so sticker bush, thorn bush.
All right, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, sorry, lost in translation. He's not the best secret keeper in the world because eventually he confessed to a man named Gray Baker, who is known as a paranormal investigator, author, and a hoaxster. Although he was, real sketchy about telling his family this lie and all of that, he eventually confessed to this guy who's gonna like tell the fucking world. But that is the VeggieMan. I know it's really short. There's really not much to it.
Yeah, that's mental.
Yeah.
That's just absolutely mental.
But what I'm thinking is there's something that I'm thinking of. I almost want to say it's a Pokemon or something that's got like this weird, like almost like a Venus flytrap head, and it's got these like leafy legs and arms. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Is it a Pokemon?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it Bellsprout or something?
Oh no, Bellsprout is the little bitty guy. He's tiny.
Yeah, but in that's all that is, I'm sure it's like an evolution from Bellsprout, isn't it?
No, because he turns into like the more of like the it looks like a squash with a leaf on the top.
Oh yeah, well that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that one.
Oh no, that's not what I'm thinking.
Yeah, fair enough then.
Yeah. I don't even know what I would type in to search it, but I can see it in my head and it's driving me insane. Either way, a lot of people like chalk it up to like this guy's crazy or whatever. I do think it is rather unfortunate there's only one account of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of makes me be like, and what was he doing?
Well, exactly. I mean, that's the that's the weird thing.
Like, why was he here? What was he doing? What was he looking for? Like, was he looking around? Was he just standing there? Because he just stumbled across him.
It's so weird. Where was he again when he like came across him?
Well, he was in West Virginia and he was bow hunting, and it just says that he followed the sound to where the VeggieMan was.
Well, so what is that? So like, would that be like a woodland or like an open field or? I mean, because if a bug is 7 foot tall, I mean, if it's an open field, you're going to see him from a mile off, aren't you?
Yeah, what I'm picturing is because keep in mind when he escaped, he was bungee running or whatever you want to call it. He had to go up and across like over a hill. So yeah. I'm kind of picturing like a not very steep hill, kind of just more like a rolling meadow maybe type thing with maybe some woods like on the edge of it.
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of tree line, I'd imagine.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Well, I'm just strictly basing this off of the fact. So my mom's house. We're gonna go back to this. I'm sorry, but it's all I have to go off of. So think about moles. Generally, are not in the woods, right? They're they're like in yards and where it's flatter or there's no trees because they can't burrow through the roots. And I'm pretty sure that these groundhogs or woodchucks burrow. I think they do both, but I think they do burrow because they were coming in and out of the bottom. Like that's how my mom got them. That's where the trap was. She had to bury the trap. And where she got them that they liked, I mean, aside from the fact that it was a garden, it was all like flat yard. And then there was like a line of trees that went into the woods behind it. So it was like similar to what I'm picturing where it is kind of like a field-ish area. but there's also woods. I'm not really sure. I wonder if this will tell us a little Google search for woodchucks. How to identify a woodchuck. No, they do have tails. They're just not flat.
Yeah.
Oh, where do woodchucks live? Oh, here we go. Shrubby areas near fields, pastures. Oh, look at me. Look at me, damn it. Boom. But yeah.
That doesn't make you David Attenborough.
Huh?
That doesn't make you David Attenborough. You killed 3 of the buggers in the same place where it's saying there, so obviously you're going to be right.
They clearly like that type of environment.
Well, obviously.
Now, granted, it could have been, I'm just saying, just to be devil's advocate here, they could have been in the woods and only come out to get to the garden.
Possibly.
In my defense. Possibly. But I'm pretty sure that, yeah. So, but yeah, this says they dig burrows 2 to 6 feet deep and up to 50 feet long. It's like a whole tunnel system. Chambers. Yeah. So
that'd be ridiculous, man. You think ants' nests are mental? Imagine finding one of them bastards.
This is huge.
That's what I mean.
I mean, they're bigger than my dog. My dog's not very big. He's a little bit.
What dog have you got?
Well, he's a Yorkie Pomeranian Maltese mix.
Oh, just an inbred thing then.
So he's strategically mixed. He also barely sheds and doesn't stink, and yeah, he's fancy.
All dogs stink.
He actually doesn't.
All animals do.
Unless he gets like little dingleberries.
All animals do.
Unless he gets.
It's just because you're used to it.
No. The other dog reeks. The other dog smells horrible. Balls. The cats stink. The dog stinks. But my dog, unless he gets little dingleberries stuck to like his tail, he doesn't really smell. I've even had people come over and they picked it up and they're like, "Why doesn't your dog smell?" I'm like, I don't know. But they do. They make hypoallergenic dogs too that don't shed.
The milk. That's when you know. That's when you know we've gone too far.
I think my kid's here. What do you think? If you stumbled across it, would you just keep on keeping on, or would you interact?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably I'd try to have a word with him and see what the hell he's doing. But I mean, I don't think he's that scary apart from the smack needles in his fingers.
Because my thing too is, you wouldn't really notice the needles on his fingers until you got close enough, right?
Yeah.
So you might just be like, "What the hell is this?" And how close would you get? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I'd want to be curious and look and see and whatever, but I don't think I'd want to do it that close.
Yeah, but like I say again, like you say, if he's 7 foot tall and his fingers are that bloody long, and then I mean, like you say, you're not going to have to get overly close to see.
But I mean, this guy, he was close enough that it was able to reach out and grab him. So
yeah,
he must have been really, really close.
Well, maybe they're retractable.
That is a good point. I have nothing but horrible thoughts right now. I totally lost where I was going because of that. But yeah, I really wish there was more. I tried to see if I could find anything else about the VeggieMan, and I couldn't find anything except like posters and cups and all that shit. But I just wanted more, details. Because too, I mean, with him being thin and like, are his limbs like sticks, or are they more like a long leaf?
Well, whatever they are. I mean, clearly he's got some strength in him if he can pick someone up and like do a runner with them.
But I'm just thinking too, like, because if it's stick-like, I'm not gonna say it's a stick, but if it's stick-like, I feel like it would be a lot harder for him to take those 25-foot long steps, because you're not going to be able to, bounce with sticky legs.
Depends what type of stick. Some are quite flexible.
Yeah, that's true. Because they are pretty thin. Gosh dang, you got some good points here. Because I was thinking like a skinny, leafy thing, because it could, then it could bounce.
Yeah, I know.
Where it would look like those Oh my God, I cannot believe I forgot what they're called. The things that you give the people that lost their legs with the little bendy things at the bottom where they run on them.
Oh, like the blade things.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was
like,
picturing.
Yeah, like what that South African fella used to wear who shot his girlfriend.
Sure.
You don't remember that?
Negative.
Yeah, that bloke who was in the Paralympics, he had no legs. And he used
What
to
are those
obviously,
called?
I think they're just called
Prosthetics.
blades. Yeah, well,
Prosthetics.
prosthetics.
Okay.
Oh, right, yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
Okay. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm ignorant. I just wish there was more information. Although they do kind of give, which is interesting. I thought that the description was fairly decent.
Yeah.
But I've seen so many different styles of him drawn that makes me kind of wish that there was more detail.
Mm.
Because if people can come up with these so many different variations of it, I feel like there's not enough description, because I feel like if the description's good enough, then your depictions of it are not going to vary as much, because you're going to be all based off the same information.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't know. I don't even know what else to say to that. It was just really weird, and it was even weirder than I was expecting it to be.
So, okay.
Honestly, what I was expecting, I was literally expecting like, well, I wasn't expecting like a skinny green thing. I was expecting like a big pile of rotten veg with arms and legs and stuff, or something that was going down like eating people.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is I saw somewhere where it said that he wanted the plasma and not necessarily the blood. He just took the blood because that's how you get the plasma.
What do you call it? Red life juice or something?
Yeah, my red life juice.
That is brilliant.
Well, but I'm wondering too, though, I'm like, maybe if he is in some sort of extraterrestrial creature, maybe he does have the ability to, when he sticks you, he can filter out the plasma and not take all of your blood.
Possibly.
And maybe that's why Frederick Jennings, or Jennings Frederick, whatever the direction his name was, maybe that's why he didn't feel as rough afterwards, because you can donate a lot more plasma than you can blood, I think.
Yeah.
Without it physically ailing your body. Maybe that's the case. It didn't specify. I mean, I couldn't find where it specified either way, but it is rather interesting. So what do you think? Do you think alien, or do you think actual creature?
I'm gonna go alien.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much gonna be what I go to, because another thing that's frustrating is, we have the encounter, but he never sees the spaceship. He just hears a humming. That's all he hears. It's just a humming.
Cloaking device.
Yeah, but this is what I'm thinking, because I'm like, well, nothing says, like I said, he didn't see a spaceship. He just heard. And if it's a creature, it very well could have the capacity to put off some sort of vibration to like disrupt anything around it, kind of like a defense mechanism, so it doesn't get followed.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is it doesn't mention him looking around for any evidence that the thing was even there. I don't even know if it didn't really have, it didn't describe any feet, so it wouldn't have footprints.
I was just gonna say, I mean, literally the only thing you could probably look for is footprints, but I mean, does he have feet?
What if, again, this guy, he reported pain down his arm, not at the injection site where the suckers were. So what if the VeggieMan, now granted, this was 1968. I don't know what kind of tech they had then, but, or lack thereof, I guess. What if his suckers or the needles were lined with some sort of antiseptic, kind of like a mosquito, where it sticks you, but you can't feel the stick necessarily because it's numbing you. So that way it could get more out before you realize it's there.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, there should have been some sort of residue, I would assume, by the punctures. But then again, back then, I don't think they would have even known what to do with it. You know what I mean? Even if he did have something on him.
Yeah, true.
I mean, they couldn't even do DNA testing. I don't think in 68. They could do blood typing, but they couldn't do the DNA.
Yeah, but also like he just tell people that it was like a fucking he got a
thorn bush.
Yeah. So I mean, clearly it wasn't like big stab marks. I mean, if people were believing that it was just like a thorn bush or something.
Well, they said it was.
They were really small.
He said they were like needles, and so now, granted, I don't know what gauge, but I would assume fairly small, like you said, because it's big enough to notice. And two, though, I mean, if this thing's got some good suction to it, he would have had like the puncture wounds with like hickeys, wouldn't he? I mean, I would think
maybe,
and you don't get that from a thorn bush.
No, well, not usually anyway.
It's one hell of a thorn bush. Are you feeling thorny?
Yeah. all I'm thinking now, all I've popped in there now is fucking Nightmare on Elm Street. I can't remember which one it is where he has the needles for fingers.
I haven't seen him.
Yeah, but what?
I think I've seen. I remember one, but it was like weird because it was like in the movie they're
all weird. That's the point.
They were making a movie in the movie.
Oh, that's a terrible one. That's the last one. That's Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
That's the only one that I think I've seen.
No, like you said, it was a very short one. Then like you said, there's not a lot to it, given the fact that there's only like one sighting basically of him. Oh, so
I guess we could go ahead and wrap this up because I think that's pretty much everything, and they're not going to want to hear all or just, back and forth probably too much. So again, everybody, go check them out. Let's Talk About podcast. I've been checking them out. I think it's on Instagram for sure. Are you on TikTok?
Yeah, but we don't really have anything on there yet. But
or is it Threads? Are you on Threads now?
On both. So we're on Instagram, Threads, which is basically just shit Instagram. Twitter, like, X, whatever the hell you want to call that now. And we have a Facebook page now as well.
Okay, because there was something I think that I just recently added you on. I think it was Threads, maybe.
Yeah. We're on everything now.
Scoping you out on there. But yeah, go over there. Show them some love. I'm still, eventually I'll figure out whether or not your co-host really exists. He's a ghost. He's a ghost.
He does.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just me doing a voice and talking to myself. Promise
you. There's another podcast that I have recorded with, I've probably recorded with her maybe 5 or 6 times, and I have yet to see her co-host. I think she's a ghost. Gotta be a spook.
Well, there's a picture of Billy on our Instagram, so there's me proof.
Oh, evidence. Okay. But yeah, go over there, check them out, give them some love, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. If you guys are interested in seeing any of the video content, including our video from this episode, head on over to Patreon. There's 2 different things there. It's all spread out. You can read all the perks and all that goodies and stuff like that. Here soon, I'll be doing more of the live streams and Q&As. But I guess watch out for walking salads.
Yeah, salad fingers.
Or I guess really look out for salad fingers. Oh my God, toss my salad fingers. Oh my gosh. Okay, had to get that one in there. But anyway, like I said, go check them out. Don't forget, please, if you wouldn't mind, rate, review, subscribe, do all of that fun stuff for me as well. It doesn't seem like much. It doesn't cost you a thing. Just takes you a couple minutes, if even that. And it'll help us all out drastically. It allows more people to find us and makes it a little easier to see and gives us, more exposure to those who are just searching for something new. Until next time, suckers. See ya. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please subscribe, rate, and review anywhere you listen. This is more beneficial than you may know and will help others locate the podcast. Don't forget to check out my Patreon page as well. We currently have 2 tiers. The Snallygaster tier that'll get you unedited bonus audio, a sticker, a shout out on the podcast, and access to the private Discord server. The second tier is the Phantom tier, and that'll get you all of the benefits of the Snallygaster tier, plus access to live streams and Q&A sessions, and is the only place you can access all video footage from regular episodes as well as the Patreon exclusive episodes. You can subscribe today at patreon.com/cryptids, creeps, and conspiracy. Don't forget to head over to the TeePublic website and take a look at a variety of merch options that are available. You can also find and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, X, and YouTube. All of these links can be found in the description of this episode under the Linktree hyperlink. Until next time, my friends, dare to believe.